Ira himself, reading a newspaper, not his own. At her approach, he peered over the paper's rim. "Sweetheart!" He hugged her briefly and fiercely. Rebecca had recently grown as tall as him, but he was broader, enlarged further by a nimbus of black and gray curls, rising up and out from his head and his chin, tufting behind the collar of his shirt. "Sit," he said. "I only have an hour." The first 12 minutes of that hour were lost to his attempts to get the waiter to take their order, a period of time during which he found it impossible to do anything but seethe. 6 more minutes were given over to the requisite exclamations about Bush, his bellicose bumblings, the Iran-Contra players in his administration, his kinder, gentler covert ops. "Horrifying." "I know." "Idiotic." "I agree." Had Rebecca read Ira's latest editorial? Yes, she lied, enjoying, despite the falsehood, how proudly he looked at her. The food arrived, as if to help them change the subject. "So talk to me," Ira said, stabbing his fork into the weak heart of his salad. "Tell me everything." She could feel herself smiling back at his smile, the shared pleasure of parent-child parallelism. Despite his rush, he wanted to know all about her, and she wanted to tell him. She described the special major she was creating, Third World Revolt and Media Studies, and the faculty she'd found to approve it. "Jimmy!" Ira shouted. "Shit. Tell Jim I say hi. Better yet, tell Jimmy fuck you for choosing the nation over us. He judges the Omni Prize. You know about that?" But then he stopped himself, raising a glass of water to the ceiling. No, sorry. I'm listening. Go on." She listed, for his outrage, the sad lineup of campus political organizations. There was the Democratic Club, if you wanted to waste time being centrist. There were 2 environmental clubs that spent their reformative energy hiking Mount Tamalpais. But where was Ira's coffee? Was it that hard to get a cup of coffee? Ira flagged down the waitress while Rebecca recited the clubs for people with shared identities. La Raza, Southeast Asians United. "Welcome to the 90s, Ira said loudly, interrupting her list as the coffee arrived. "Radicalism has died. Now we team up with those who look like us. They've given up on changing the economic structure that keeps their oppressors in power." He sipped. "The coffee, in case you're wondering, is tepid. But the company, you look terrific, Rebecca. The company is fantastic." She felt so adult, her backpack full of used books with colons in their titles that would teach her everything Ira already knew. She felt, even with her problematic hair, almost beautiful. She began to describe an essay she was working on. Black and white and red, READ all over, representations of American socialism and the Red Scare and the Gray Lady. When Ira interrupted again. "Sounds terrific, Pumpkin. Really punchy and astute. But listen, we need to talk about summer." Rebecca reached under the table and into her backpack and retrieved a pen and narrow notebook bound spirally at the top, the type he used, which she'd bought for the occasion. She set the notebook on the napkin, uncapped the pen. He smiled at her provisions. "I've been thinking about that place, you know." He circled his hand as if he might conjure the word through physical effort. "Where David goes." "David?" She silently ran through the many Davids. David Goldstein, David Grunbaum, David Gross, David Marks, Ira's friend, Ira's enemy, her SAT tutor, a classmate in poli-sci last semester. "David," Ira repeated, bugging his eyes at the obviousness. David. "Oh, David." A young boy walked into her mind, treading on the cuffs of his cords. The son of her parents' closest friends, once her own best friend. A pierce of pain. David. David was now a sullen teenager with whom she shared nothing. A yawn, a thorn, a general disappointment. David cared little about scholastic achievement or political activism. What did he care about instead? She had no idea. He spent his summers at a back-to-the-land camp run by Rebecca's cousin Caleb, the visionary, as David once called him, when he still spoke to her. She couldn't remember the camp's name either. Did Ira want her to write an article about it? "That place, Caleb's place, what's it called?" Ira pressed his temples until he extracted the camp's name.